Steelers fans, today we're doing a mock draft, but here's the deal. My boss told me that if we can't get 500 likes on this video, I'm not allowed to do another Steelers mock draft for a month. So like this video, if you want to see more Steelers mock drafts this month, we need 500 likes, so start racking them up right now. Welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry, and today we got another Steelers mock draft. It is my third Steelers 7-round mock draft for the 2023 offseason. I can't wait to share it with you guys, but first let's go over a couple of the basics here. First, how many picks do the Steelers have? They have 7 total picks right now, 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third and fourth rounds, and then 2 in the 7th round. And then what are the team needs for the Steelers going into the draft? This is who I think they'll be targeting. I think offensive tackle and cornerback within the first 2 rounds. They have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. I think 2 of those picks have to be used on a tackle and a cornerback. And then you got inside linebacker, nose tackle, and edge rusher that are going to be addressed on day 2 or early day 3 there in rounds 2 through 4. So let's just jump right into it. But before we do, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Steelers Talk right now for comprehensive Steelers coverage this offseason. Hopefully we're going to be doing more mock drafts here over this next month. We're going to have free agency stuff, draft stuff. If the Steelers hire an offensive assistant for Matt Canada, we're going to be breaking that down here with breaking news coverage all offseason long. Every time they make a cut, every time they make a signing, we're going to be doing some great stuff around the draft in April. So if you want access to all of that great content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now, and don't forget to turn on notifications to always get notified when we put out new videos. All right, let's just jump right into this Steelers Nation. Number 1 pick for the Steelers. At number 17 overall, I have them taking the cornerback out of South Carolina, Cam Smith. And I really like Cam Smith. Some people, he doesn't get talked about enough. Lots of people are talking about Devin Witherspoon right now, Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr., but I really like Cam Smith because he's got that prototypical size that you look for in a lockdown number 1 corner. He's really big for a corner, actually, at 6'4", 216. He's excellent in both man and zone coverage, very fluid athlete, good runner, and people feel it when Cam Smith hits them. With all 216 pounds of his frame, when he hits you, you feel it. This guy is a bruiser, and sometimes he can be a little bit too aggressive in run defense, and it'll lead to some missed tackles from time to time. But I'd rather have somebody that's too aggressive and you have to tell them to lay it off a little bit than someone that's not aggressive enough and you have to tell them to kick it up a gear. I think Cam Smith is going to be a really, really good cornerback in the National Football League. And I think that if the top offensive tackle prospects are gone in that first round, right, we talked about them, Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, Paris Johnson Jr., if those guys are gone, and right now most NFL experts are projecting that they will be off the board, then you got to go best corner available. For me, I think at this point that's going to be Cam Smith, somebody that can be a true lockdown cornerback for the Steelers moving into this next era of Steelers football. All right, guys, go in the comment section. You know my pick here, but pick a cornerback with the 17th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. If you think Devin Witherspoon, type DW. If you think Joey Porter Jr., type JPJ. I think I'm going to see a lot of JPJs in the comment section. If you agree with me and go with Cam Smith, go CS. Or if you think Kelly Ringo, type KR. All right, guys, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, go ahead and go into the comment section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's question. All right, at the top of day 2 here in round 2, I think the Steelers, if they can't get an offensive tackle in round 1, they'll go get one first pick on day 2. Here I have them taking Darnell Wright, the right tackle out of Tennessee, but I think they're going to be drafting him with the purpose of moving him over to left tackle and replacing Dan Moore Jr. He is a massive human being at 6'6", over 330 pounds. He is a mauler in the run game. He's got Pittsburgh Steelers written all over him. I think that he's somebody that showed good balance at the Senior Bowl this week. I think he's somebody that could really be a left tackle in the National Football League. He was a right tackle in college. He allowed 0 sacks in the SEC this past year. I think he's going to be a fantastic prospect and protect Kenny Pickett for years to come. I think, whenever you have a guy that size, it's really hard to bull rush them. It's really hard to get around them. Darnell Wright, somebody that had a couple of balance issues on his film, but all those seem to be quite alleviated with his performance at the Senior Bowl. I think he'll be around. He might go round 1 now because of how he did in Mobile, but if he's there at 32, I think the Steelers take him. In this scenario, he makes it there, so I have the Steelers taking him here at 32. All right, guys, go in the comments section right now and tell me, when should the Steelers draft an offensive tackle? Type 1 if you think first round, or type 2 if you think second round. All right, so here, still in round 2, I have the Steelers going linebacker here at the 3rd pick. Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. He's not my top inside linebacker in this draft class, but he is number 2. My number 1 guy in this scenario gets picked, so I go with Drew Sanders because I think he's Tomlin's kind of guy, somebody that can be used as a blitzing weapon, someone with great blitzing instincts. You could even maybe try him out at outside linebacker, try to make him into a rotational edge rusher from time to time. He had a good PFF grade this year, and he's pretty raw in pass defense, but I think that that's something that can be developed a little bit more. He's changed positions a couple of times, so he's still kind of learning the ins and outs of zone coverage, that kind of stuff from the inside linebacker position. But I think he's the type of guy that Mike Tomlin's just going to fall in love with, and if he's available there at pick 49, I think he's definitely in play for the Steelers. So before I reveal the rest of this mock draft, let's have a word from our sponsor at BetUS, which is the official sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports, and they're offering you guys a fantastic deal, a 125% deposit bonus when you use promo code Steelers125 at chatsports.com/bet. So here's the deal, guys. On deposits of $100 to $600, if you put in that kind of amount, they're going to give you 125% of that money back to you to use on your bet. So for example, if you put in $100, they give you $125 absolutely free of charge to use on your bets. You could use it on the Super Bowl that's coming up here. NBA is starting to heat up. Trade deadline is next week for the NBA, right? You got NHL that's heating up. All this great stuff. March Madness is coming up here right around the corner. So go ahead and use Steelers125 as the promo code at chatsports.com/bet to get that 125% deposit bonus. All right, here in round 3, I have the Steelers taking nose tackle Keanu Benton, who was one of the stars of the Senior Bowl and Senior Bowl practices here. He's a big human being too, man, 6'4", 315 pounds, and he gives you an element as a one technique that you don't really see all that often, which is pass rushing. Like he's someone that can affect the pocket, somebody that actually has some pretty darn good hand placement and hand usage, has some good pass rushing moves. He can contribute in that way. And when you combine that with Alex Highsmith, with TJ Watt, with Cam Heyward, this defensive line starts to look pretty scary. Right now, this is the situation at defensive line for the Steelers. Of course, you got Cam Heyward in there, but Ogunjobi, Alualu are free agents. Montravius Adams is probably going to get cut. You do have DeMarvin Leal and Isaiah Loudermilk to work with, but I think that the Steelers are definitely going to be looking to address that nose tackle spot. They find their answer here with Keanu Benton. All right, guys, you got a Steelers mock draft or draft idea or draft scenario you want to run by me, go ahead and do it on social media. Give me a follow on Twitter at Jack_Sperry and or Instagram at SpareDog.football. I love talking Steelers with you guys. I love talking draft with you guys. If you got a question about a prospect, about a certain scenario you want to run by your mock draft through me, go ahead and do that right now at Jack_Sperry on Twitter or at SpareDog.football on Instagram. So here in round 4, I have the Steelers taking one of my guys, one of the guys that I think is a real sleeper in this year's draft class, B.J. Thompson out of Stephen F. Austin. And I've said this on the show throughout the week, he is a freak of all freaks when it comes to outside linebacker edge prospects. He's 6'4", he's got extremely long arms and legs. He's got one of the quickest first steps in this draft class, bar none. Like I was watching a couple clips from him at Shrine Bowl practice this week. He was lightning quick out of his stance, and then he's a former defensive back. And, sometimes in those 3-4 schemes in your base alignments, you have one of your outside linebackers go back in coverage. You could definitely end up doing this in the future with B.J. Thompson because he's a former DB. He's got fluid hips. He knows how to go back in zone coverage. He understands those kinds of principles. And if this guy hits, man, this guy could be one of of the best outside and one of the most versatile outside linebacker players in the National Football League. Like, this guy's definitely a developmental prospect. He would probably only be playing for the Steelers on third down, pass rushing kinds of situations. He still has a lot to learn, but if he is there in the 4th round at 121, I think I would take him if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, guys, and that just leaves 2 more picks left on the board here in the 7th round. With one of those picks, I have them taking a tight end here from North Dakota State, yes, the Bison, Noah Gindorf. And this guy is a big person, man. Like, for a tight end, he is huge, 6'6", 270, runs like a deer. I mean, this guy, you know, people just bounce off of him. Like, I was watching his film. I was actually watching Cody Mock's film, offensive lineman, and I saw this guy on film. I'm like, who is this guy? And he was, I mean, defenders were just bouncing off of him when he was running. He's a physical runner, somebody that's dealt with injuries, so he's probably not going to be rising up draft board, so he could be there in round 7. I think this would be a great fit to go along with Pat Freiermuth, who's not really a bruiser. He's more of a receiving tight end, and same thing with Connor Heyward. Steelers really need a bruiser in there at tight end. I think Gindorf is that answer. And then Stetson Bennett. Why not, guys? All right, it's 7th round. You know, he did have that issue in Dallas, where I'm from. Okay, guys, I get it. But 2-time national champion, somebody we've seen success with Brock Purdy in San Francisco. We've seen guys at this kind of build have success in the National Football League. He's a smart decision maker. He is a good athlete. He is a guy that people respect in the locker room. I think that if he's there in round 7, and I think he probably will be, I think the Steelers should maybe take a flyer on him and add him to the quarterback room. Might be crazy on that, but hey, it's a mock draft. Who cares? All right, guys, who is your guy? Who is the sleeper pick in this NFL draft that you think is going to be a great addition for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Let me know who your sleeper pick is in the comment section, and that will do it for today's show, guys. Here at Steelers Talk, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the true Yinzers that make it to the end of the video, because it really helps the algorithm get our videos out to new people. We really do appreciate you guys. We're going to have a great week of new content coming out for you here during Super Bowl week, so get ready for that, guys. I appreciate you, and until next time, peace, guys.